Hello friends, we've got another video to go over today. A rare moment when CIG releases a video on their YouTube channel now. But they have given us the RSI Perseus, which I'm guessing just released with 4.4 live, so we'll check that out tomorrow on the channel. By the way, come drop through, we getting Twitch drops tomorrow, it should be interesting. But let's take a look at the RSI Perseus. This is more of like a traditional react. I'll pause it and talk about things and whatever. You can stick around if you want, if not, have a great day. I appreciate you. Let's get into it.
RSI Perseus is a big ship for big fights, but you're not quite ready for capitals yet.
It's a heavy gunship that focuses on heavy turret firepower.
Dude, this thing's gonna... Oh, they're replicating it. Oh no, they couldn't do it with a hammerhead because it's just too tough, but I really appreciate that they replicated this shot. That's fun.
Other ships at the same time, which provides a way for players to take control of an area and engage multiple threats simultaneously rather than having to dogfight and focus on one at a time.
So a heavy gunship...
Wait, hold on. Say that again, John?
Provides a way for players to take control of an area and engage multiple threats simultaneously rather than having to dogfight and focus on one at a time.
Sorry, I just thought I misheard it, but it is interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing how this fares in like the red level bounties and mercenary missions. I think it actually could be pretty nice. That's what I'm hoping to test out over the next few days.
A heavy gunship is when the ship gets a little bit more bulky, gets a lot more defensive, and is designed to tackle a bit bigger foes.
Some of the larger threats it's ideal for targeting would be things like constellations and that sort of size ships.
The RSI Perseus
it likes to punch down.
It's like the classic RSI design. It's a really large, long, very menacing looking ship. We've got this pointy nose. You've got
so
the
beautiful.
bridge just behind the center line, so it echoes that classic warship aesthetic.
Entirely, it really feels like a solid ship, able to go into battle and it's well protected. It's heavy duty. And it looks badass.
I think this is the first time we've seen turrets like this, if I'm not mistaken. We know these are on the Javelin, and we can see this in Squadron 42, this sort of combination turret. But I'm not sure if we've seen it in the game before this.
Well protected, it's heavy duty.
Like available to us.
Badass.
It does look really good. PDCs on the back there, front, top and bottom.
Thrusters on the rear. Again, we've built on what RSI is known for with these kind of large thrusters that are out on the nacelles at either side.
Very Polaris.
Back when we introduced the Perseus as a concept, its role in the game was to be a sort of mirror of the Aegis Hammerhead, where the Hammerhead was designed as a heavy gunship for screening smaller fighter craft, whereas the Perseus was for engaging larger threats.
So when the Perseus was originally announced, it had size 7 weapons.
I wouldn't go anywhere near this thing in a
As
constellation.
times went on and
No.
other larger ships have entered the game, we felt it didn't fit the rule well enough anymore to be size 7s. That's why it's been upgraded to size 8 weapons.
These are manned and capable of full 360 traversal.
Someday we're going to see
And there's
size
a
9.
slew of point defense turrets throughout the ship as well to provide protection against incoming missiles and torpedoes.
And they're fully interchangeable, like all the other PDTs in game. So,
Dude, that actually looks pretty cool. Go back to that. I like the design of that. We didn't used to get little assets like this before. I'm glad that they're putting these on the ships. Just look good, dude.
Missiles and torpedoes.
and they're fully interchangeable, like all the other PDTs in game, such as the missile one that came out with the Idris K, along with the ballistic Gatling variant that's coming with the MDC in a few days.
We're also
I'm sorry? What?
smaller size 3 remote turrets.
So they're standardizing PDTs, he's calling them, whatever, same thing. Oh, not exactly same thing. Cannons and turrets. But he's standardizing them and then just kind of casually dropping a new ship or vehicle.
In a few days.
The QVC?
Along with the ballistic Gatling variant that's coming with the MDC in a few
MVC.
days.
Grey Cat?
There are also smaller size 3 remote turrets that can be controlled from the bridge.
That was a juggling act because that was not in the concept, so we had to incorporate all of those weapons together but not break the silhouette of the concept in a destructive way. So I think
this thing looks impressive.
The silhouette generally, but also added the necessary functionality to match the expected turret experience that came from Squadron.
Yeah, dude.
There was a lot of moving.
Oh, okay. All right. I kind of can feel the saltiness of a Polaris owner. This actually does look very much like this looks very Squadron in terms of like polish on that interior. That looks good for a player ship.
There was a lot of moving parts, pun intended, with that, where the whole turret had to literally extend when you sit in it.
Bro.
Or the fact that the seat and the turret pivots needed to be lined up on the y-axis. So that's why they transform once you sit in them. The player won't notice, but that was to actually make it so the pivots line up. So when you tilt your seat is tilting at the same angle as the turret that's next to you.
We tried 3 Perseus against the Polaris, and they did extremely well. Because the Polaris's major punch is the torpedo, whereas the Perseus's major punch are the guns. And the guns have no range limit. So you just go right down the throat of the Polaris, and you're pummeling it, and we destroyed it quite quickly. You can't really be stopped. But the Perseus does have...
Oh, this is gonna cause quite a storm, I think. There is a lot of conversation going on in the community about the Perseus, the Polaris, capital ships, subcapital ships, how the power balance should work, all that kind of stuff. That moment's probably going to be used quite a bit in conversation. But I think we should wait to see how this actually plays when we're playing with it, both in PvP and PvE scenarios, because this looks like the kind of ship that's going to depend a lot on the actual skill of the people within it.
Don't say you can't really be stopped. Because you say that, and then they're going to nerf it 5 days later.
Oh, Jared.
Okay, you can be stopped by good tactics and smartitude.
This is what I have to work with, people.
That's why they don't let them do ISC anymore.
So there are multiple different ways to enter the Perseus. All of them will connect you into the cargo hold, but all come with different pros and cons. So you have the docking collar, which allows you to connect to stations. You have the personnel lift, which allows you to enter the ship without depressurizing the cargo hold. And then you have the main lift that you can put people or vehicles on to get up to the actual ship. All of them bring you into the large cargo hold area that let you...
I love a freaking ramp. I love a cargo deck that goes down to the ground. Oh, gosh.
quickly navigate to the other parts of the ship.
Oh man, I love this.
Concept, we've made some minor interior changes just to improve the flow throughout the ship.
Love the padding. Love the texturing on the sides here. Beautiful design. That's a great little detail.
Fun is when we're tackling the ships with a large interior.
Oh my god, dude. Look at this. Look at the interior of this. It looks like the freaking Pillar of Autumn or something. This looks so great. Sorry, Halo reference. I have to
make sure that the interior has all the functionality that we want, and sometimes that does have some layout changes.
The cargo bay, since the concept has been increased to 96 SCU, and the layout of it is pretty favourable in terms of putting vehicles in. You can put things up to, say, rover-sized vehicles in there, and this does allow you to run cargo missions, although that is not the ideal role of this ship.
In this space, we really tried to convey the strength of the ship. So one of the things that we evolved slightly from the original concept was these large structural beams.
Is there medical on this ship, man? There can't be medical on this ship, right?
They tie the walls, the floors, the ceilings all together, and they give a little bit of a skeleton to the ship. It really conveys that no matter where it takes a hit, it's going to survive.
Also, what song was that?
I love the
I need that song.
theme to it, and we tried to create that aesthetic.
Is this all Star Citizen music we're hearing? This is incredible. Please release this, CIG.
Inside the ship, where we labeled everything similar to an actual military ship. When I toured the Midway down in San Diego, and when I was visiting the Bar Citizen, I met a lot of former Navy guys, and they said, yeah, we have, labels and arrows pointing every which way, so when you're in a big ship, you never get lost. I'm the one
there's basketball. Dude, that's way better than the 890 jumps now. Origin is getting shafted, dude.
Why?
Yeah, because the concept artist had this, this harebrained scheme, and hopefully the fans will make use of it. I mean, I was able to shoot hoops successfully in there.
If you turn left in the cargo area, right in front of you, you've got the torpedo loading areas.
Bro, the labels are great.
So on the lower deck, that is where you access actually loading.
They're actually showing torpedo loading. You do this in the Polaris? I don't actually know, but like, dude, it's like the actual thing that people have talked about for years. I know it's just a video. Oh, but this ship is out now, yeah? Do these work? I don't know. We'll find out in the game tomorrow. Boy, oh boy, this is exciting though.
Torpedoes in.
Great way to start IAE.
We changed the concept entirely. Instead of an enclosed device, it's an open bay where it's this V shape and you can load all 20 and visibly see every single torpedo. The reasoning is versus the Polaris, where that system, you sort of load the torpedoes, but then it tucks under and then you can't see them anymore. That interfered with the ability to unload and reload them. So that was the critical change versus the Polaris.
And then on the upper deck, that's where you have the fire control. That full section there is really kind of dedicated to just blowing things up.
For other.
Very
dude, what the
in there,
dude?
It feels like you're really in the heart of this big warm.
Bro, the production is also really good. Like, they're doing very good editing. The music is great. This is what happens when they stop doing ISCs. They're like, okay, we got one coming up in the next 90 days. Let's kill it.
Slightly further ahead of that, you've then got the turret access, and that gives you access to one of the manned turrets. If you're in the cargo area, you turn towards the rear of the ship. On the lower deck, we've got the engineering area. That's where you've got all your core important ship items that allow the ship to function.
It's kind of insane that this engineering room looks like it's about the same size as the Caterpillars. The Caterpillar needs some freaking help, dude. That thing needs a rework interior wise. If this is the size of the Perseus,
If you're in the cargo
that
area,
is
you
not
turn
big.
towards
Look at that. That's so many components in that space. Well
the rear
done.
of the ship. On the lower
Also
deck, we've
scary.
got the engineering area. That's where
Do not let people in this
all your
room.
core important ship items that allow the ship to function. On the middle floor of the rear of the ship is where
nice.
our habitation area is. It's got
Where's our pool?
shared bunk area, typical of what you would expect.
And I mean, like billiards. Like, we have tons of billiards tables. When did we get to play? Interesting, more military style habitation too, especially after they talked about like the 600i being more luxury. They actually they had a communal bed situation with the 600i. They're splitting it off so everyone's separate because that has a luxury vibe. But this being military, it makes complete sense to have a bunking situation like this.
On a military ship, and then off of this
he
shared
literally
bunk
said it.
area, typical of what you would expect on a military ship. And then off of this area, we've got a small bathroom, and then we've also got some storage for your weapons and also your armors.
Bro, the lighting.
So at the top of the ship, we've got the captain's quarters, right in the heart of operations.
Does that look like a cross between a snake and a piece of corn?
So they can go straight out of the captain's quarters and straight into the bridge.
And a new entrance exit airlock behind the bridge, protected by 3 doors for security for quicker EVA access.
What do you expect to happen on this thing?
What do I expect to happen on this thing?
That you have increased security on the bridge.
They added a door behind the bridge because they got bored of getting out of the ship and taking forever. But then I pointed out you just put a weak spot right behind the bridge. So they put 3 doors. So you have to breach 3 doors to get through. So it's not easy to get in, but easy to get out.
And then at the front,
He literally said, guys, that's a problem. And they said, okay, we'll just do more of them. That's hilarious. But that would be nice both on the Idris as well, having a door back there.
we've got the main flight deck.
Wow.
The bridge has 3 seats, 1 gunner, 1 co-pilot, and the pilot one. It has a really nice view when you get on the pilot seat, and it slides up and forward. And you can see this giant turret in front of the ship. That's really cool.
Oh, that is really cool, dude. I forgot that the mid-section bridge is like, people wet themselves over this. This is, yeah, that's like, people want a lot more ships with this kind of sitting all the way back at the back of the ship sort of view.
That's really cool.
It's very reminiscent to old battleships. You've got views all around the front half of the ship, so it's a really nice place to be. I think the ship's great. I think the North American team did a fantastic job of looking at what we delivered with the Polaris and taking
North America
feedback. I know there was a lot of feedback around navigation and signage, and set a really nice standard of we've listened, and this is kind of the new and improved.
I think it's
okay, so they're definitely like, hey guys, we heard that there was problems with the Polaris. Yeah, I guess that means they're probably going to go back through the Polaris sometime. Better be soon.
be a combat-defining ship. we're going to see a big change in the way that people fight each other. It's a ship designed to actually put pressure on some of the larger ships if you crew them. I'm super excited to see how the Perseus and Hammerhead work together next year in the upcoming tactical strike groups. The ship's almost designed to work in tandem with each other.
Oh, that is nice. Oh, God.
It's been quite a long-awaited concept to in-game, and I think we've massively improved upon what was originally promised, and just the styling of it is just cool.
Well, I'm sold. I will not be buying. I'm glad that I don't really have a need to buy ships I like, because holy crap, I like that ship. No, I didn't expect to like it this much, guys. I did not think. Nope, not a military ship. Nuh-uh. No, not something like this. But oh boy, you see these facial expressions? That's me. Yeah, dude, this shot. This is when I realized. I mean, I know it's not that big a deal. Everybody likes certain things, but the vibe I get from this interior and the cargo bay going down to the bottom and the lighting and like the polish, this is great. I think the one place where I have some concerns with this ship is it points out again some of the problems that we have with the way we're iterating so consistently. The Polaris came out a year ago, and it is now grossly outdated in terms of its interior. And they've kind of acknowledged that here in saying we've heard kind of how things could be updated to be a little bit better in terms of a military ship. But the first thing you ask yourself is, why didn't why was there no Navy people input on something like the Polaris or the Idris? And if that's the case, then what do the Squadron 42 ships look like? Are they also suffering from these problems? Do they now need to be updated? It's just a little off-putting that we see such a drastic difference between an interior of two different large-scaled military ships from the same company, and also a sort of realization that like they needed to make some progress after the Polaris. Is that sustainable to keep updating these ships because we didn't realize a year ago that some design standard would have worked well? I am certainly not the kind of person to say we can't iterate and we shouldn't be doing reworks on these ships and stuff like that. But I feel like there is a scale that you got to balance. And releasing a ship as big as the Polaris only to have it feel outdated within a year is not great, in my opinion. So while the ship is still functional and it still works great, and I think it's beautiful, I have not been a stranger to the complaints surrounding the Polaris and the way people feel about it. Personally, I'm okay with the interior of the Polaris. I think it feels very Spartan and like a cold military ship. But putting it next to this, there's definitely a difference in the way they've designed them. And from the same company, I don't know if that's so much up to just design preferences. Either way, this has been a look at the Perseus. Great looking ship. We will be testing this out all day tomorrow over on the stream, and or today whenever this releases, as well as everything else in 4.4. Hope you can join us. Hope you enjoyed this, got some info, and I'll see you in the next one.